All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl ad. It's been a couple days now. We had other things we felt were more prevalent to discuss, but Kanye had a Super Bowl ad. He had an ad where he basically is talking like this into his phone, and he spent no money recording to his phone. He purchased the 7 million dollar slot for the ad,
Mm-hmm.
and he has since put out, I guess, proof that he made 19.3 million back.
Okay.
There's a breakdown. I have the breakdown of the ad, but I mean, I don't know if you need the breakdown, but point is, in return, it's supposed to be something like 284 orders, and 284,000 orders, 19.3 million in like 24 hours.
That's huge.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting and worth discussing. So I wanted to bring it here.
That shows you the power of reach and what I was talking about earlier in the week and how literally everyone watches the Super Bowl.
Word. That is very true.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised that it converted to as much sales as it did because, first of all, it's Kanye, and
Right.
I think Kanye is always going to have that reach. Um, but yeah, and if there's one time where people like to watch commercials, it's the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Never want commercials any other time, but when the Super Bowl is on, people look forward to that. So, not surprising that it did so well. And I guess, Kanye needed to make back some of the money that he's lost over the last few years with, his business dealings that have, gone south.
I don't think this was about that though. I think this was the opposite. I don't think this was about money. I think this was showing people his reach. I think that's what this was. I think this was less about I mean, we don't really need the report now that we're here, but
Mm-hmm.
I think this was less about me getting money back and more about me showing to brands, here's what I can do with
Mm-hmm.
no budget.
I see that. It doesn't
He
mean that
didn't
he
have a
profited off of it.
Superfly, let's try to break the internet Beyonce ad. He had, I pulled out my phone, I spoke into my phone, and I
Mm-hmm.
paid this. I paid for the slot. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, but he still did make a profit off of it. So,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that was his reason, but he did make a hefty amount of money, and that's we've seen Kanye over the last couple of years lose a lot of money. So I'm sure it doesn't hurt that he was able to make that money in that much money in one shot. So yeah, but I mean, I see him proving his reach. I don't even know that he has to prove his reach.
Oh, I think he does after all the things that have happened with Adidas, with Gap, with Balenciaga, with all these deals that went sour, all these companies that feel indecisive or unsure about doing business with him. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is how you do it. I think you show them, one, here's the genius of my marketing. Here's the genius of my mind and creativity.
Uh-huh.
And here is how business savvy I am. I think this proves three in one, especially to the big companies, because truly, this is
Uh-huh.
a genius move. I mean, Gary Vee has said stuff like this for years, but who you seen do it? Who have we seen just pull out their phone, talk to their phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then send that shit out to the Super Bowl? Like, wow, this is a game changer. This is a genius move, and it worked. Even if it didn't work, you could have said that was a genius move with poor execution. It was a genius move with perfect execution. He
Mm-hmm.
made almost triple his money in a day. We don't even know what the report is today. He
Right.
just posted that 24 hours later. Imagine today, I'm sure sales are still trickling in. He very easily probably made triple his money.
Do you think it's gonna matter to brands?
I think a lot of brands, it will, because more brands care about their bottom line than their public image and how their brand looks to the people. I think a lot of brands are concerned with money, not brand identity.
I'm just curious because I know that there's been who came out recently or last week or something said that they didn't want anything to do with him. I can't remember who it was. And then I know we talked about him finding venues for his tour also, and speculating what the reason might be that he might be having a hard time finding venues. So I was just curious what you thought about that because, I mean, um, he has made some waves with his
Yep.
opinions and his beliefs. So I'm curious to see how this goes. And who jumps back on the bandwagon with Kanye? Because I'm sure you're right. I'm sure there's going to be brands who don't care as much about those things and just want to make sure that their bottom line is secure and that they're making a profit off of whatever it is. So I could totally see brands flocking towards Kanye at this point. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
they'll
listen,
make the money, and I think everyone knows that. I think I understand him having to now prove himself because he's lost the trust of some people, but I think they know what they're getting when they get into business with him. So I'm curious to see if this particular thing that he did will, like in the next couple of months, we'll see, oh, this person decided to collab with him, or this company tried to do this with him.
if you are one of the companies who is debating whether to do this business move with Kanye or not, and
Mhm.
then this happens, what you think? If it's you the head of the board, you the CEO, whatever, of let's just say Adidas, what you do now?
It depends on the company.
I just said you are the CEO of Adidas.
Oh, Adidas,
What you
sorry.
do now?
Well, didn't Adidas already get back in business with him?
Sure, but I'm saying we know him and Adidas have a murky relationship. So I'm asking you, Dash, if you were the CEO of Adidas and then this information comes out, what you do?
I put out more products.
Okay.
But see, Adidas is tricky because Adidas is also a German company, and I think that matters with the
Hmm.
stuff that Kanye says and the stuff that Kanye spews. I think culturally it matters, and I think that's why they had problems with Kanye the last few years. So that one is tricky. The reason I say yes, make more products or put out more products is because they have come to some sort of agreement with him, in a way for them to move forward, at least for the present time. I don't know how long that they intend on doing that, but I think their latest deal is more to deal with the unfinished business that they had with him.
Yeah.
So, of course, and I could see it being maybe they don't do something long term, like I don't know how long these deals go for, but maybe they don't do something long term and they do something short term while it's whatever time frame they negotiated for what he was already doing. They could easily say, okay, why don't we put out another shoe under the same line, or why don't we do this, or why don't we? I mean, I could see it happening. I'm not. I don't think that. I don't think that every company will say no. I'm not interested in doing this, but I do think there will be some. And for a guy like Kanye West, as big as he is, probably doesn't matter because for every person with a moral high ground, there's someone without one. So
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked, because I think there are plenty of companies that are going to see this and double down on their business dealings with him or seek out new business dealings with him so they could run it up.
yeah,
Someone who could triple the value of something like this or triple the investment like this is someone of high value to any conglomerate trying to bring up their bottom line.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.